Hey everyone, Chris here with my daughter Tegan. We're gonna cook some keto teriyaki chicken today. I'm gonna go over the ingredients after I get my daughter set up in her little exerciser down here, and we'll get to cooking. Alright, now here's a quick overview of what you're gonna need. We're gonna need some chicken. So I have some free range. Obviously I'd prefer pasture raised, but free range was all I could find at Safeway. Now these are thighs. My wife and I both tend to like thighs a bit more. Tegan's gonna open a drawer up for us. How you doing, Tegan? Now next up for ingredients, we're gonna be using our shallot, ginger, garlic, and I'm gonna actually make this into two portions. My portion is gonna have a little bit of Carolina Reaper in it just because I like spicy. So it's gonna be version 1 for my daughter, just normal teriyaki keto chicken. The second one will be spicy keto teriyaki chicken. Now we're going to be using our avocado oil right here, some pepper, Celtic sea salt. Now the soy portion is actually going to be coconut aminos. Now this one says liquid aminos. It's made out of coconuts basically. It's a great both keto and paleo version. It doesn't get you that soy, so especially as a male, you're not having to deal with issues that soy tends to present. And then for a keto sweetener, I like using monk fruit sugar. That's my preferred sweetener. There's also stevia and a lot of other ones you can try out, but this has been kind of my favorite. Some of the other ones almost have a Diet Coke taste afterwards, which I'm not a huge fan of. And then we're going to be wanting to use our wok along with our wok paddle. Now that's why I'm using avocado oil specifically. It has a higher smoke point than olive oil. In a lot of more of my kind of Western style cooking, you tend to use olive oil a bit more to say help butter not burn and kind of cooking styles like that. But for more of kind of my Asian and Thai specific cooking styles, I like to use something with a higher smoke point just because we tend to use higher temperatures. But over there they tend to use flames. I unfortunately only have an electric stove, so we're going to basically crank it on high and get these two portions cooking nice and quick. I got 2 bowls, actually 3 bowls set aside. One bowl is going to be for my mix with the quote-unquote teriyaki sauce. And the other 2 bowls are going to be where I'm going to put my portions. One's going to be for my daughter, one will be mine. That way, whatever my daughter doesn't finish, I can just mix in with mine. Alright, so first off, we're going to start with the sauce, since that's what this is all going to cook in. I'm actually going to pour my coconut aminos. I don't need a huge amount. I don't use exact measurements. A lot of cooking should be a little bit more of a feel as opposed to exact measurements. There's times when you're going to have to use exact measurements, but again, I like going more by feel. Again, I'm going to put my Carolina off to the side. Now I'm not going to really prep my garlic too much right now. I'm actually going to use a garlic press to get the garlic in there. I'm going to use 1 clove for my daughter's portion and 2 cloves for mine. I like a little bit more flavor. My daughter's taste buds are still kind of developing, so if I try to go a little too much on flavor or if I go too decadent, she is way less likely to eat whatever it is I'm cooking her. Now with the garlic, I'm just trying to get it peeled real quick, so I don't need to chop it up or anything like that again. Garlic presses come in real handy for that. Alright, next we're going to move on to that ginger. With ginger, I'm going to make sure to kind of cut off the bad end. We're going to toss that in the garbage. Now from there, again, I don't want too much flavor for my daughter. I'm only going to cut off about that much. Set the rest off to the side. Just going to give it a nice quick peel. So for my daughter, I want to cut off about that much. Chop it up nice and small. I don't want her eating big chunks of really anything right now. At least nothing that she's not expecting. Last up is going to be our shallot. Now you can realistically use any sort of onion. I personally like shallots when it comes to this type of cooking. Play around with it, see what works best for you. Alright, we got that shallot peeled. Now to chop it. There's a lot of different ways you can chop it. What I'm going to do, I'm not cutting all the way through. That first one I did cut all the way through. I decided to kind of change tactics here. We're going to chop most of the way through, but not quite all the way. Now very carefully, go about midway. Cut across. I'll try to do it one more time, see if I can get away with it. And then we're just going to chop straight down. That's going to give me some nice little tiny pieces. Alright, now you can kind of see what I'm setting aside for Tegan here. Not a whole lot, but it'll be enough. In fact, I might even, looking at the proportions of everything else, I think I'm going to take a little bit bigger piece of garlic, but I'm going to half it. Now that should be a pretty good portion for her. In my sauce, that's where I'm going to put my pepper. And realistically, you could pepper the chicken, you could salt the chicken. I just like putting in the sauce. It's nice and easy. It's all going to get incorporated anyways. So, kind of see there, good amount of pepper. Put my Celtic sea salt in there. I don't need too much of the Celtic sea salt. The coconut aminos are already kind of salty. Now, for my sweetener, monk fruit sugar, what I'm going to do is take a nice big spoonful, put that in. That should be enough right there. I'm going to mix that around. Alright, now that I have that mixed a little bit, what I'm going to do is take a nice little taste. It's real salty right now. What I'm going to do, and the nice thing about this is if you make too much, you always put some in a mason jar and just save it for later. So it's a lot of salty, only a little sweet. So I'm just going to nab one more spoonful of our sweetener. Not a full spoonful on this one, I'm going to do a little bit. It's always easy to add. Very, very difficult to subtract. Okay, now that's right about where I like it. Tegan's pulling on me real quick. We're gonna leave that right there. Now we're gonna prep the chicken. Now, while I got the chicken prepping, I've turned on my stovetop. I have it set on, again, mine's kind of a cheap apartment style stove. So I have mine set on 8, which is a pretty high heat. Again, wok cooking tends to be quick and hot. Alright, so now I got my chicken. Last piece here for me. Alright, I'm gonna wash my hand real quick and we're gonna get to cooking. So, first up, we're gonna put in that avocado oil. You already see that's pretty nice and hot. In fact, I might even turn that down just a tiny bit. Make sure that gets all around our wok here. Press that garlic, put that in there. Already smell that going. Set those in there. Perfect. Next up, I'm tossing that chicken right away. So getting that cooking. Again, I'm using about half that chicken for my daughter. The other will go to me. Or if she doesn't eat, I'll eat. Now while I'm aiming here, essentially get some nice color on the chicken. I want to make sure to keep it moving. Hold on to you again. Alright, now that I got some nice color there, we're just going to put a little bit of our sauce in. I don't need too much. Just enough of that to cook in and soak in that flavor. We're also going to cook down the sauce a little bit. Now again, this is just one way to do this. This tends to be a little bit more watery. It's kind of my reinvention of my original recipe after I went to Thailand. I heat back up a little bit. Now you see there, I'm kind of letting it bubble. Back in, mix that around a little bit. Kind of let it bubble out. As it's cooking off like that, the sauce should thicken a little bit. Kind of see that chicken is absorbing some of that color from the sauce now. We had a nice color on it before, now we got even nicer color. The more I get it to reduce down, the thicker it gets. Alright, we're going to go right about there. My daughter's getting a little restless. I got to get my portion cooked. We're going to have ourselves some lunch. So to put her portion aside, I'm just going to put it in this bowl over here. That way it also cools down by the time she is set and ready to eat. Yeah. Now, normally I would serve this on cauliflower rice. If you're not on keto, this would be great to have on normal rice. That is what my wife will do if I have some leftovers for tonight. Alright, so we're ready to try this out. We'll see if she likes it. Now, I got a knife to cut her portions nice and small, that way she doesn't choke. Obviously that's far out of her reach. Now I'm going to use a plate to cut her portions on. Let's find you a good piece. There's some pieces here. I know you just want to use your hands. Whoa. Okay. And making sure if the knife is not in my control, it is far out of her reach. We're going to see if she likes it. Try. You just want to grab it with your hand. What do you think? What do you think? What's the verdict? She doesn't seem to hate it. Let's see if we can get her on to another piece. Now, if she's taking 2 bites, the way she eats, that means she does like it. So we're gonna cut this up. There you have it. Keto lunch. Kid-friendly lunch. Now again, I don't make her do keto diet or anything like that. The nice thing is, since this has monk fruit sugar in it, it doesn't have the same types of sugar that your average teriyaki would have, so it is healthier for her, but I'm still going to always offer her something else to eat. She is definitely more of a meat and potatoes gal. Does not like rice. I've tried to get her on rice, and she will not eat rice. So after this, I will offer her some meatloaf and potatoes. That's one of her favorites, and she'll eat that. Awesome. If she doesn't, that usually means she's full. Oh, there you have it. My keto teriyaki chicken. Thank you for joining us today, and sawadee kap.